What happens when success looks perfect from the outside, but feels heavy on the inside? You have the title, the revenue, the recognition, the home, the respect. But somewhere within, there is still anxiety, still pressure, still a quiet voice asking, why does this still feel so heavy? Welcome back to Beyond the Battlefield, the podcast where we explore modern leadership through the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was not weak. He was not inexperienced. He was not an ordinary man. He was skilled, disciplined, respected, and undefeated. And yet, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, something inside him collapsed. He dropped his bow. He lost clarity, and he said, I cannot fight. And that moment is not just ancient history. It is happening today in boardrooms, startups, leadership teams, and inside high-performing executives who look successful outside, but feel exhausted, anxious, and stuck inside. Today, we explore that invisible battlefield, the one created by subconscious patterns, old identities, fear, control, and the belief that success must always feel hard. And joining us is Curtis McCullom. Curtis McCullom helps CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs uncover the hidden blind spots that have silently shaped their decisions since childhood. He is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, mental emotional release practitioner, and the creator of the LGET Mindset framework. Learn, grow, expand, transform. And today, we ask a very important question. What if your next level is not something you need to chase, but something already within you, waiting to be unlocked? Curtis, welcome to Beyond the Battlefield.
So before we begin, I was really excited to going through your LGET model. And when I was looking at more detail about the model, it was resonating very well what I and used to talk on Beyond the Battlefield. So you talk about learn, but learn what is beneath in mind, what are the patterns, what are the habits driving your behavior, not learning new thing, right? You're talking about growing, but growing by living something which you don't need, correct? And then you're talking about expanding, is expanding the vision, clarity, not expanding your area of working kind of thing, right? And then transformation, you're talking about, it should be part of your life. It should be, it's not something which is you will transform once and you will sustain. Transformation should be part of your life. And that's what I have also learned, and a lot of people in the world have learned from Bhagavad Gita, a 5,000 years old scripture. And that always excites me about all of those things. This is very radical. People say learn, they want to learn new things. What we are going to talk about is that learn what patterns and habits are driving your behaviors, subtle things which is inside, which you don't know.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the whole idea about learning is that every experience that we have an opportunity to get something from it. And usually one of the challenges that most have, they don't get that learning. And the subconscious mind loves learnings. It loves the fact that, hey, this is what you got from that. And now you can actually grow from it versus, you're going to want to learn new things, but we're talking about actually human behavior. What is it that actually drives them, or what is it that's preventing them from actually moving to their next level?
So what I was saying that in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was not an ordinary man. He has never failed in life. He was highly skilled, respected, disciplined, and successful as well. However, internally, he collapsed under that pressure in the battlefield and decided he will not fight. So today, many executives and founders experience something similar. Outwardly, they look successful, but inwardly, they are exhausted, anxious, and sometimes stuck as well. So Curtis, you spend years performing at top level in corporate leadership before moving into this deep inner transformation work. So what was the moment when you realized that external success does not automatically create inner freedom? And one more thing, that and what was happening internally that most people around you probably could not see inside you?
Well, I think one of the biggest moments I can remember, a moment when I was doing my job and I'm doing it extremely well. And it, from the outside, it looked like it was easy. And I remember my wife coming to me and says, "Oh my God, we were doing over $1 million in revenues for the company. And I was working hard, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week and just making things happen." And she came to me and says, "Oh my God, Curtis, this is so easy for you." And I looked at her and I says, "This is not easy. This is very difficult. It's heavy. It's really hard to continue to do this." And she looked at me like I was crazy because of the fact that on the outside, I was extremely successful, but on the inside, it was very, very stressful. It was very, very heavy. It was very, very just strenuous that I have to show up every day. And that was one of the defining moments for me when I was actually producing as a producer is that I was carrying this weight. And I didn't really realize what it was. I really didn't until I did some more work on myself. And one of the things that I was carrying is that success was hard and difficult. And so that belief that I had garnered from when I was a child, I was still carrying that baggage. And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs, especially who's been grinding now for 20 years, 15, 20 years, now they've had success. We are very successful on the outside. We have the cars, we have the houses, we have the money, we have all the investments and things of that nature. But on the inside, man, it's just so empty. And like you kind of question yourself, what is it I'm actually doing?
You're right. Two things which I have realized. One thing is when you say success, we have car, we have family, we have big houses, we have wealth created, right? And still you feel that inside something is missing. Now, one of the definition of success which I see is that success is not a destination, it's a journey.
Absolutely.
But to experience that journey, you should have an feeling about it, that every step in a day you walk, you move, should feel like a success.
Yes. Yeah. It's a journey. I mean, you think about it, you're absolutely right. It's if we're in alignment, there's not a pushing.
Right.
Right. But most CEOs, and if we're on the battlefield, like you call it, we're on the battlefield. Think about it, we're in a fight or flight stance.
Right.
In fight or flight, particularly our sympathetic nervous system is in this stance. Like I got to fight, I got to flight, or I'm going to freeze. And so our nervous system is all out of whack because that's what we're feeling. The difference is in our parasympathetic nervous system is activated. We're calm. We can think. That means we don't have to continue to push to get what we want. We're in alignment with the universe. We're in alignment with what actually goes on. And so it's not that we're not working hard, but we're working smarter. We're allowing our mind now to help us operate our nervous system so that we stay balanced versus out of balance.
Right. And the second point, what I was trying to say, that inner alignment versus outer success. And that's where the problem comes up, because what I'm doing externally may not fitting my real nature inside. And
Okay.
that's what you also explained, that, externally we are successful, but internally there are a lot of noise going on inside. And in Gita, Krishna keep on pointing Arjuna inward, almost as if the real battlefield is not in Kurukshetra, the battlefield, but the unconscious patterns controlling perception, fear, and identity. That's what you are also talking about into your LGET model. Modern leader often believes stress comes only from external pressure, market condition, target, investor, competition, fixing over there, right? But sometimes the deeper pressure comes from the subconscious condition. And that's what, Curtis, I want to understand, after working with CEOs and entrepreneurs for decades, what was some of the most common hidden subconscious pattern you have seen silently driving leaders' decision, reaction, and an emotional burden around them?
I think the biggest thing that I've seen is that, because like you said, this outside, they look like they are very successful. Inside, they still have this dialogue that's running that I'm not enough, that if I stop, I'm going to lose everything, or that everybody's after me. So these fears like, oh my God, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose everything. Or, So all of these fears and these doubts and these things are still running and being programmed. So one of the things I found is that that's some of the biggest challenges that most of these leaders have, is that I'm not enough, and so I have to continue to be validated by outside things to make me feel like I'm enough, and it's never enough. So I continue to push harder to try to get that validation, and it's not enough because of the fact that they have not quieted the internal battle, right? And when you look at the subconscious, 5% of our behavior is conscious, which is only 5%. So the 95% that they never stop to work on, that's the part that we actually deal with. Because if we can change that internal battle, the 95%, then they align with their conscious goals and objectives. That's when things become extremely easy. So usually is, I'm not enough. I'm not, even though people continue to tell them they feel like they're not.
Yeah. And in that internal battle, the patterns and habits, I would say mainly patterns are driving habits. And those patterns, for an example, if something bad has happened with me in past, I will always have a fear that that thing will keep on continuing. It may happen, right? And the other fear is something good has happened. I will have a fear what will next time the good thing will not happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, basically, and that's the part of we just talked about. That's part of the belief patterns, right?
Right.
It's like, and so this is the crazy thing about the subconscious mind is that it moved towards our dominant thought, right? And so even though we're thinking positive, that we want to not. This is what I'm saying. We don't want to not fail, right? So the conscious mind, instead of saying you want to succeed, you want to not fail. So it looks for all the ways and means for you to fail. So it's a very powerful mindset and computer that we have, that it works for our good or bad based on how we actually program it. And like you said before, if we failed in the past, that means that failure is now it's on a cellular level. It's not just mental, but it's like into our being.
Correct.
And so we'll easily gravitate back to that, even though we don't want to. If we don't understand how it works, we'll continue to kind of gravitate back to that old self-thought and those doubts.
Yeah. And then one thing what we have done is that we have confused ourselves between success and fame. Many times people feel that if I am a famous, glamorous, or I have more followers, more likes, I'm successful. While what I believe, and I learned from Gita and people like you, that if I'm hitting gym every day, that's a success. It's not necessarily what I'm doing inside, whether I'm gaining or losing weight or I'm building my strength. But if I'm reaching to gym, it's a success. Every day I show up in the morning, it's a success. And that's what the inner change I think we should bring in ourselves. And that's what your model is helping people a lot.
Yeah, basically, you think about, because for me, one of the affirmations I continue to tell myself, just being authentically Curtis, just being me. So my thing is, I'm looking for individuals who are looking for me, and being authentically me is more than enough. So if I'm for you, fine. If I'm not, I'm okay with it. And I can let that go. I'm not chasing. I don't like to spam anybody. I don't like to continue to, because you're not for me. I'm looking for people who are like, hey, look, I'm in this state. I'm being created this battle. I can't get out. I've reached this level of success, and I keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I tried strategies. I tried mindsets. I tried life coaching. I've tried all these other different things. Curtis, can you help me? Yes. And that's kind of where they are. These guys who come to work with me is like, they've tried all this stuff. They tried all the strategies. They tried all the other things that didn't work, because they still keep coming back to the same place they've always been, because that the internal battle has not been settled yet. They keep working. It's like external stuff to try to make it work, and it doesn't usually work.
And this is exactly the point where the learning of or teaching of Krishna starts in Bhagavad Gita. Exactly same point where Arjuna said that I can't fight. I'm surrendering yourself to you. Please help. And that's one of the leadership lessons I have learned, that don't teach anyone who is not ready.
Well, you can't. Well, you think about it. You can't. I mean, if they're not ready, they're not ready. It's like, and then sometimes, some individuals try to force you to be that. It's like, okay, you can force. I tell people all the time, when I tell people, this is what I tell them. I says, look, when you come to work for me or work with me, It's like, you got to be ready. And if you tell me I'm a 3 or 4, I'm like, you know what? I don't like to work with 3 or 4s. I tell them, this is what I tell them. I don't want to mess with my track record because of the fact that you're not going to do what you need to do. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get to the next level. And the biggest thing that these individuals have to be willing to do is drop that old identity.
Right.
That old identity is no longer serving you. Now we have to create a new identity that now transforms your life to another level. You know,
Right.
I one of the things I call it the universal capacity principle, and it's taken from the New Testament scripture in Ephesians 3:20. He says, he or God is universe is able to do immeasurably more than we ask or think according to the power that works within us. So basically, we have this universal power that works within us, but our capacity, we don't have the capacity anymore because our backpacks are full of stuff. These old beliefs,
Right.
these old identities. Until we can empty that backpack, we can't expand to have immeasurably more because of the fact that we still have too much junk we're carrying. This old identity, these old fears, these old doubts, these old just the identities, period. That's one of the challenges that these guys have.
Right. And that's where one of the symbolic thing in this situation in Gita, where Arjun puts down his weapons and said, help. Right. Now, putting down the weapon is symbolism that this ammunition is for battle outside. I know he understood that it's not going to help me out. I need something else, which he doesn't know. And the way you explained it last time, we were talking about another metaphor is a water tank, which is full of water. Right. And you don't get water in the tap, you keep on refilling the water tank, it is overflowing, but still water is not there. You're not cleaning the pipe, right? So that's what the inner habits pattern, and these patterns and habits are built for years. And we in Bhagavad Gita says that it's not for this lifetime, maybe the previous lifetime. And you need to come out of it, and that's where meditation, detachment, and many things comes up. Now, one of the most misunderstood teaching of Bhagavad Gita is detachment. Now that came into my mind, so I just want to discuss that. That whenever people hear detachment, and they think that this means becoming emotionally disconnected, passive, less ambitious. But Krishna asks Arjuna stay fully engaged. Arjun wants to run away from the battle, and Krishna says, no, you have to fight the battle, but not in the state what you are in, the state which you have to be. So he's saying that you have to get engaged while fully becoming inwardly free.
Yes. Well, basically, it's like you said, but it's not a detachment. I mean, it's like it's almost a releasing of what that you feel like you have to do, right? It's like, for me, one of the things I do daily is when I'm doing my meditation, I then see, sense, and feel who I want to become, but then I detach from it by releasing it, right? It's out in the universe, and allow the universe now to realign the things that I need to be doing on a daily basis in order for me to accomplish it. It's not that I don't work. I mean, I got up early this morning. I worked out. I did some meditation. I prepared for this podcast. I'm preparing for another meeting after this meeting. I'm doing things, but it's not a push. I'm detached from the outcome in the sense that I know that if I'm clear, if I'm in alignment, that I can have more of a flow state on a daily basis.
But practically, see, what happens is in today's world, you are always being measured, and you are there to drive outcomes, grow your company, grow your business. Right. So practically, how can a leader remain deeply committed without becoming emotionally trapped by those outcomes?
Well, I think number one is understanding who they are, right? I mean, like we said before, in order to increase capacity, we have to let go of our old identity. And part of that old identity is I got to push. No, you don't have to push. You have to be clear on what you want, and then continue to take inspired action on a daily basis. That's different than just pushing actions. Inspired actions is something that now internally moves you forward and not push you forward, because now you've been moved by your this clear way of seeing things, which is totally different than what you had before, is really difficult for most people to see until they experience it. I'm working with a young lady right now who in one day we quietened the noise that she's been carrying out, she says, for 47 years, right? We did it in one day that we cleared this noise that now she's like, oh my God, I can see clearer now. And now I can see how I can 10X my company because of the fact, without pushing. She's like, I'm not pushing anymore. I don't have this old identity that I got to push, I got to move, I got to do this. She's like, I feel calm, I feel good, I feel confident, and I'm keep moving forward. It's not that she's not working. She's just not working with the intensity that she had to do before because she don't have anything to prove. Let go of that old identity, and now I don't have anything to prove. And because I don't have anything to prove, things going to come to me I'm going to be attracting things and manifesting things to myself much easier because I'm not pushing. I'm just allowing it to kind of come to me.
Yeah, and that's what I had also seen that, in corporate world, fuse the identity with performance.
Yes.
So if company succeeds, I feel worthy, right? If deal closes, I feel valuable. If recognition disappears, oh, my identity is not there. What should I do, right?
Right.
And Gita also, the way you explain, Krishna continuously separate the deeper self from temporary roles and achievements. So your roles are temporary. We are the actors in a movie, right? Our role will keep on changing. Today, you and me have a different role for this 1 hour. After an hour, I will have a different role. I need to call back one of my colleagues and close one deal, right? My role will change, correct? After that, I have a different role with my family. So your identity, in real identity is different than the role what you are playing. And that's what you said, right? That someone, if we are able to help them to understand their real identity, who Curtis is, who Ankur is, right? Then goes, like you said, a lot of things will release and people will feel light. And then the opportunity of growth will start.
Oh, yeah. And it's think about it. Think about we talked about the water filling in the bucket. You also talked about in the pre-interview about the garden, right? It's like it's hard to plant seed in a compacted soil, right? You can have the best seed, the best strategies, the best coaches, the best whatever, but if your soil is compacted, you can't get the seed in. So the first thing we need to do is till the soil, to turn the soil so that now the soil is now in a way that it can accept the seed.
Right.
And then once the seed now, and that's the whole new identity. It's like my old identity is compacted. It's no longer serving me. And it's like we keep fooling ourselves. Like, so I got to push harder. I got to get more. I got to have more strategies. And then we still end up in this place where we don't want to be. So it's like, okay, just stop it.
Right.
And now let's just stop. Right. Stop. And let's really just deal with you, because once you get this new identity of who you truly are and authentically be that being, and that's what I was working with one of my clients, is that who do you want to become? Not what do you want to do, who do you want to become? And so we have created this North Star for them based on their new core values, that now this is who I'm going to. So regardless of what's happening in my life, my core value said, this is who I want to become. I want to become authentic. I want to become someone that people can depend on. I want to become, this is who I want to become. So regardless of what the goals are, this is who I'm becoming. And guess what? It's always moving. It's a North Star. You never reach it.
Right.
You never reach it, but it's something that's always driving you forward, that you feel light, you feel free, you feel like, wow, this is who I am authentically.
Correct. And for that identity and role, something which we discuss is that, and the teaching is that it's better to be your own path. Let it be imperfect, rather than imitating someone else's path which looks perfect. Right?
I like that. Well, and that's the problem we have with social media, right?
Yeah.
It's like we all want to be, look like, smell like somebody else and not be authentically us. And I mean, it's like getting farther and farther out there. It's like, shaking different body parts, doing things crazy. It's like, because I want your attention, because I want what they have instead of just being you. It's like,
right. So like your legit model says that you are now started acquiring something, and something has started creating a pattern inside of your behavior, which is not yours.
Right.
And you are accumulated into you. Right now, Now, a fish can't fly. Let fishes
Right.
be into water, right? And even elephant can't fly. So everyone has their own role, own nature. If you stay aligned with those role and those nature, everything will be fine. You will feel light. And like you said that, today, if I have a goal and if I am running behind that goal, I feel stressed because I'm running behind it. But the
Right.
way you said that, if my inner energy push me, I feel light. It's just
Yeah.
pushing me out.
Right.
I don't have any burnout. I don't have any stress. I'm just moving.
Right.
Right?
And one of the things I think you said, like when we were talking about my framework, LGET Mindset of learning, growing, expanding, and transforming, is like you said before, it's a never ending process, right? It's
Right.
not linear. It's more like a spiral that continues to move you forward at the same time. And so what will drive you, right? So one of our biggest drivers is our core values, who we truly are. And that is the driving force that keeps us moving forward, not pushing us forward, but it's just moving because we're moving with flow versus push. And one of the things that we as leaders have to continue to do, and I was studying this morning, I was thinking about it. I'm like, are we willing to invest at least 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just to be, just to meditate, just to actually see, sense, and feel yourself becoming this new being? 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a lot of time, 10 minutes in our day. If we can just stop to do that, who will we actually become by just doing that? Because of the fact that once we do the clearing in my coaching sessions, we do a clearing in one day. We call it a Monday mindset reset. So over one day, 8 hours, 4 and 4, we clear all this baggage out. But the biggest learning is not clearing the baggage. The baggage clearing is the easy thing. The biggest thing is the conditioning of the new behavior. And that takes every day. Think about it. You don't stop, I hope you don't. I mean, every day you take a shower, right? Right. Why? You have to cleanse the body. You don't want to walk around smelly, so you cleanse the body. Every day we brush our teeth. Why? Because of the fact that we want fresh breath. We want to make sure that our dental hygiene is there.
Right.
This is what we have to understand, leaders. We have to have a mental hygiene practice. So every day we need to renew our minds so that we can prepare for these daily battles that we're going to have, we're going to encounter. It's not that we won't ever have battles again, but if we can have a daily renewal, that means we'll be in flow more times than not. That's the whole idea.
Yeah. And you talked about daily mental hygiene. Now that reminds me something, and you do a lot of things around, you are doing a lot of leadership coaching, a lot of outbound, right? I had been to a lot of outbound. And during that time, I have realized, oh my God, these are the very good technique, like 10 minutes every day, staying calm before responding. A lot of technique we learn, right? And I will now practice. I will go back to my office in a daily routine. I will start practice, but in a 15 days, 1 month time, there is a pressure situation and I again become anxious. I forgot that calm. The reason is what you said just now is that my mental hygiene, 10 minutes daily practice, I am not doing because my mind is trained to become anxious under pressure situation for years, right? Now, when you meditate, your mind will not stay at one place. You meditate around anything. The mind has a habit to move around 1,000 thoughts in a microsecond, in a second. Now that practice, that's a practice you have to do. Your mind had a practice to move left, you have to bring it right. Only that's the change you have. But it's so simple thing, people don't look at.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea. I remember one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, would say, he said something like an apple a day, right? And then he says it's easy to do and it's easy not to do.
Yeah.
So we're talking about an apple a day. If an apple a day actually makes our healthy, why not eat an apple, right? It's something easy to do. If we truly want to live in this world with more sense of calmness, we want to live in this world without all this external pressure. Not that it won't happen, but the whole ideal is, and if we are willing to do 10 minutes a day, really? I mean, if that would actually change my life and allow me to now help me grow my company tenfold, will it be worth it? Will it be worth it to 10 minutes a day to now have a better relationship with my kids? Will it be worth 10 minutes a day to have a better relationship with my wife or my spouse or my partner?
Yeah.
Is it worth 10 minutes? That's what we're talking about. It's like, wow, when you look at the fact that it's a very, very small investment that we need to be making, and the impact that we can have on the world and on the world around us is exponential.
Correct. I practice this thing every day, or most of the time. Like today, when I have to come for this recording, I had a very exhaustive day. Not a day, afternoon and evening as well, because I was on the call till just 1 hour before this. Right?
Right.
I had to have my dinner. I have to prepare. I have to come here. Those 15 minutes of meditation or break has changed everything. Not only my mental but physical stress as well, and
Yes.
that is very powerful. What you are saying is very powerful. People may not recognize. One thing which we discuss, and you also talked about that, the identity, the nature, the composition, whatever you learn, get into yourself, right? So
Yes.
what we talk about is, we talk about a very practical science, which was spoken 5,000 years ago. Everyone, you, me, everything around us is built of material nature. And material
Yes.
nature is basically three things: goodness, passion, and dumbness, or maybe ignorance. I'll say it's ignorance, right? You, me, everyone is a composition of that, and that composition keep on changing some point of time. And we can practically think around that. Have we ever thought of going to casino early morning, or have we thought of having a glass of beer 6 o'clock in the morning? 99% people will not do that, other than those who have a habit. So I'll not say 100%, but 99% of people will not do that.
Right.
The reason it will it is like that is, during that time we call it a sattvic phase, or a phase of a goodness.
Right.
Morning 4 to 8. As soon as 8 o'clock clocks, you will become passionate and start doing your daily activity with a very good energy. After
Yes.
7, always we like to party, and that's where the phase of ignorance comes up. Right now, that's where, what time you should do a critical decisions in your life. That's also important, right?
Right.
And if we are taking decision that we are fully exhausted, I'm sure the decision will not be right. And many leaders take a call. Okay, let's call a day. We'll talk tomorrow morning. They
Right.
know what they have to call, they have to decide, but they will announce the next day morning, because a lot of things change. Your energy change, the way you think will change. Decision may not change, but the way you communicate will change. Now, one thing which I have learned, and I just wanted to understand from you, that many leaders are trained today to suppress emotion in the name of professionalism.
Oh boy. Wow.
They become efficient externally, but internally disconnected. And Gita also, Krishna has never tell Arjuna to suppress his emotion.
Yes.
Rather, he has helped him to see them clearly. Now, from your experience in hypnotherapy and emotional release of work, what happens when leaders keep suppressing those fear, grief, insecurity, anger for years? And how does
Wow.
that eventually affect leadership presence and
Oh, my
relationship
God.
as well?
But basically, it's detrimental to the whole nervous system. Think about it like this. A feeling is just an emotion that wants to communicate with us and leave, right? So it's natural for us to feel sadness. It's natural for us to feel some guilt, or here's what I'm saying, feel some guilt, feel some sadness, and feel some fear. That's feeling that we just need to release. When we don't release it, the subconscious mind says, hey, I'm here. I'm trying to get your attention. And so then we've realized my back is hurting. Why is my back hurting? Because I'm here. I'm trying to tell you that I'm hurting. Then your stomach starts to ache, right? Why is my stomach aching? Because you haven't dealt with this feeling, this emotion that needs to be released. It just wants to communicate with you and leave. And what I tell leaders is this: it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to pretend that you're okay and you're not.
Yeah.
So it's like the biggest thing that a person can actually do is acknowledge whatever that they're feeling. It's okay. It doesn't diminish who you are as a leader. It makes you stronger as a leader, because people know that you're an authentic being. You're a human being. And so it's okay to feel fear. And so one of the things I teach my clients and I teach individuals, number one, is acknowledge it. Now, this is the big one here. Don't identify with it. Don't say, I'm afraid, or I am sad. I am not. You're not. You have a feeling. So one of the things is that I am feeling sadness, because now it's a feeling that I can actually control. Then I tell them just now, do some deep breathing, some diaphragmatic breaths, reason for the breathing is because the breathing puts the body back into its perfect system for healing. The parasympathetic nervous system is activated. Now I can think. My body goes into this healing mode. Then now I can release the energy. This is the big one. Then ask yourself, what is it I need to do? What is it I need to learn? How can I now move from this? And allow your higher self now to communicate with you, because it's so important. Because what happens is just one learning. It wants you to learn something, and in order to release it, you have to acknowledge it. One of the other scriptures that I love in the New Testament scriptures, it says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. So the healing is in the acknowledgement. And you may not want to acknowledge to everybody. You don't want to maybe blast it to all your employees, but you need someone that you can be totally honest with so that you can release this negative energy. Because by holding it in, that's why people get cancer. That's why people get illnesses and diseases, is because of the fact that they have not released these old emotions that are now dragging them down. They have heart problems, cancer, they have all these other diseases because of that. You have to release it. You have to let it go, because it's not the perfect blueprint for health is that I want to serve you and I'm trying to get rid of it. And you keep saying, no, I don't want the people to know that I'm sad. I don't want people to know that I'm afraid. I don't want the people to know that I'm feeling these feelings. It's okay.
Right. And one of the things you said that I'm not sad, I'm feeling sadness.
Yes.
That's the difference between self-awareness and self-realization.
Yes.
Right. And for this, the way you said and very well explained, I think it's fully clear to me what you are trying to communicate. And this remind me something which is very well woven into Indian system. I was not knowing for years, but slowly I started realizing the festivals, the way festival has been defined, like others or maybe other part of the world, we don't have a big festival once in a year. We have festivals almost alternate month. Only summer we don't have. The reason I created one episode as well in a different channel called India Unwritten, where the episode was beyond rhythm. The rhythm was set in a way that from harvest to end of the year, you go through all the emotions and you have option to release them. And that's where you don't accumulate those, because you have
Yes.
grief, you have ignorance, you have a lot of things, you have losses. You lose a lot of things, a lot of people, many things you do, right? So, and one thing when you must have observed, and when you have traveled to India or when you travel in India in future, after festival, people don't feel exhausted, they feel lighter.
Well, because
Right.
they have released that which no longer serves
Released.
them. Right.
And when today we go for vacation, we feel exhausted. That's the difference between regular releasing. That's what you said. I release on a periodic basis. Don't accumulate.
Yeah. Oh no, accumulate. That's the whole idea. And one of the things that we've been practicing now with is there's a practice called Ho'oponopono from Hawaii, where basically every day, if a doubt comes within my nervous system, and so what I do is still allow myself to be embodied with this great light of love from the universe, right? I surround myself, I see it and I feel it, so that now that I have this love, this impenetrable love that's just surrounding me. And then I just tell myself to let it go. I says, thank you, I love you, and let it go.
Yeah.
You know, I see you. I mean, so it's like, number one, I thank you for giving me the lessons that I need to learn.
Correct.
I love you, love myself. I love even the fact that this feeling or emotion is being presented to me. And thank you. And so
Correct.
now I give it gratitude, because gratitude and anxiety and gratitude can't exist in the same being. So by thanking it, by having gratitude for it, it just helps it release it. And then, I mean, immediately when I do that practice, that takes less than 5 minutes, immediately, even if someone crosses me, right? It's like, number one, I don't know what's going on in their world. And sometimes we don't even have empathy for people to really, and we take all these emotions and feelings and stuff. So every day we need a moment where we do some type of cleansing, so that we're not accumulating these feelings and these emotions that now is landing in our bodies. I have a person that I know is that their back is literally like this. It's meaning like humped over because of the weight that they're carrying of their business. They're like, they have not released it, and they go get injections and shots and all these things. I don't care how many shots you get. I don't care how many injections you get, until you release that which no longer serves you, you're going to be having a lot of pain. Got to release it. You got to let it go.
You're right. And that is where, the modern leadership culture is also impacting us. Here, control is always glorified. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna repeatedly reminds us that uncertainty is built into your life, what you are going to control, right? And many leaders intellectually understand uncertainty, but emotionally they resist. Like you just talked about that guy's hump, they're carrying a weight of the business. Do we really think that weight is going to grow his business? It's not. Right? I'm sure at some point of time they will be in a big trouble as well. So
yes.
One thing I want to understand, that your study for decades about human behavior, why do high achievers struggle so deeply with uncertainty and control? And what shift internally when someone learns to lead without trying to control every outcome?
I think one of it is that, I know here in the U.S. is that's a sign of strength, control, right? If I lead with a heavy hand, that's a sign of strength. Well, not really, because you can get more out of people when you generally communicate with them and allow them to be beings and allow them to be open. That means you're open to more opportunities. And so one of the things is by releasing that identity. We talked about that earlier. It's all about identity. It's like one of the things I ask my client is that, are you willing to do whatever it takes to get what you want? And one of the big things that you have to get rid of or let go is your identity, your old identity. So we carry this old identity that says we have to have control. But control, you can still be in control, but you don't have to exert control.
Yeah.
I don't have to like take the steering wheel and every time it does that. No, basically, let's put it on autopilot by using our minds and getting other individuals involved. And then guess what? We're still in control because we still get into the destination that we want to get to.
Yeah. And when your team grows, they understand, right? Your business is going to grow.
Right.
But if as an individual, we can't do everything, right? We have expertise on something, and that's what, we have talked about identity. I talked about path. That's what we also talk about, that do what you are good into.
Yeah.
Stick to your own nature, your own identity. If I'm a good painter, I should not try to become a musician.
Yeah.
I should keep on doing more and more painting, and I'm sure I can do much, much better than any musician who is doing imitating them, right? Now, one thing in modern leadership, again, that culture focus more on optimization, a better productivity, better system. And here in Bhagavad Gita, we talk a lot of radical thing, that we point towards something very deeper, transformation of consciousness itself. Now, one of the discussion earlier you talked about, and today also you talked about, that a lot of things is around the universe. You are not allowing them get into yourself, right? Yeah. And while you spend a lot of time with people releasing and limiting their inner pattern, right? What is the difference between simply improving that performance versus genuinely transforming?
Well, because performance usually is conscious. Performance is usually driven by the conscious mind. That means that's the 5% of our behavior. That's the willpower that's driving this behavior. That's exhausting. Totally exhausting. The transformation comes from the inside. Now, my subconscious, my true new beliefs is driving the behavior. My new beliefs are driving the behavior. That's 95% of who I am. That means now I'm in flow more than I'm not. So the whole ideal is, do I want this 5% of behavior that I'm pushing, have my willpower because I wanted to make it work, or do I want my total being be in alignment where now it just happens? It happens because now everything is in alignment who I am. My new beliefs, my new values, my new identity is now in alignment with my goals, which now I'm transformed. That means I don't have to push. I just have to be. I just have to be me. I have to be authentically who I am, and things will happen so much easier.
Yeah. And something which we talk about universe, and as a human, we like in this battlefield, the warrior doesn't want to fight, he's not moving. And the coach who is helping him to get rid of all of those noise inside him and fight freely.
Right.
So one thing we talk about is, and very well explain, that between warrior and war or an enemy, what should remain, right? And when you get into extreme of, I would not say extreme, but at the peak of war, only war remains. Now, neither warrior nor an enemy remains. For an
Right.
example, between you and me, or I keep on giving one of the example is when you are in a concert, a singer who is singing and a listener who is listening. But when the concert goes at the peak, the singer doesn't remember himself. What he remembers is only that music, that song. Even the
Right.
listener doesn't remain, right? So we talk about non-duality, not oneness. Oneness is someone, any one of one will go off. Non-duality is neither you will be there nor I will be there. Only the conversation between us will be there.
Right.
And that's where universe also play a bigger role. And last time we had talked about sun rises every day. It doesn't ask for how much gigawatt energy you have consumed, right? It will come up every day. But
Right.
think of a situation, and that's where the next thing which always hurt people is ego. And I keep on saying that tomorrow sun is not going to rise. What will happen, right? In 8 minutes, the energy will start depleting in the earth, and some point of time no one us will be there. So when
Right.
every day morning we wake up because sun is coming in, what's the
Yes.
ego we are carrying? But ego plays a very important role in the leadership. Now, multiple theory we have talked about that building ego is right, but one thing which I have learned and help us to understand that why building ego is right, but dissolving is much better than that.
Well, I think ego isn't it's important. It has an important part to who we are. That's who we are, right? Is that we have this being that still wants to be, but it's not like that's not my identity. That's the difference, right? It's not that's not who I am. It's like, okay, that's a part of me that now helps me become a better version of myself. So when we look at it not as the whole, but only as a part of who I am and who I'm becoming, that's totally different than this egotistical person who's trying to. Once again, we talked about driving versus being, and we're talking about now becoming more of a being individual, a human being instead of a human doing. And so that would be the difference in this ego type of situation.
Correct. And last thing before we sign off, in Beyond the Battlefield, we have often explored that the greatest leaders are not necessarily those who control others, but those who understand themselves deeply. Now,
Yes.
Krishna's ultimate teaching to Arjuna was not dominance, but inner alignment. Now, your journey through the corporate leaders, subconscious transformation of work and human potential, and the studies around that. If we have to define in one line, what does the true inner mastery actually look like in everyday leadership?
I think the human mind, what it looks like is that now I'm in alignment spiritually, emotionally, physically, this alignment being, meaning like everything that I'm doing flows from down, so like every part of me is now working in concert with each other versus against each other. So now I allow this flow of energy to come in with my spiritual being, my mental being, my emotional being, and my physical being. I think that's the key to it. Is like now we do an exercise where now we have your core values and then we help you define them based on all of those three, what life of mastery, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. When that's working together, then now you have created this North Star of your being.
Right.
A
And
clear direction.
correct. And that finally remind me what you said, that spiritual, physical, and mental or intellectual. Not believe Bhagavad Gita is sectioned into that way. The first 6 chapter talks about karma yoga of physical actions. The second 6 chapter talks about intellectual, bringing it will blow your mind. The thought process will increase like anything.
Right.
And the last 6 chapter talks about spirituality. Like you rightly said, everyone, Gita says that everyone in the world has one path, and there is a way defined over there. And you explained very well in your last line that spiritual, mental, physical, anyone we can choose. Everyone cannot be intellectually well, but physically well. If you are not physically well, you are not intellectually well, don't worry. Just follow spirituality. Make yourself lighter. Right? So
Yes.
one learning I have, and I always like when I talk to you that don't carry the baggages.
Yeah. Got to let go
Don't
of
carry
the
the baggages. Become the baggages, become lighter, you will grow, you will fly.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Curtis. Thanks a lot for your deep understanding about this. Practically, we like to bring the Gita to modern leadership, and you have helped us to one step forward that how actually those teaching of 5,000 years back, practically you are already living and teaching people around the world. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, man. This has been a great conversation, and I love. I'm just beaming with the energy that you have, and I appreciate you, man.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Curtis, thank you so much for this deeply insightful conversation. Today's discussion reminded us of something modern leadership often forgets. The real battlefield is rarely outside. It is inside. It is the noise we carry, the identities we hold on to, the fears we suppress, the pressure to constantly prove ourselves. And perhaps true leadership does not begin by controlling everything outside, but by becoming deeply aligned within. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna never asked Arjuna to escape action. He asked him to transform the state from which action arises. And maybe that is the real shift every modern leader must make. From pushing to flowing. From proving to becoming. From carrying baggage to finally letting it go. Because success without inner freedom eventually feels empty. But alignment changes everything. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Battlefield. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who may be silently carrying their own inner battle. Like, subscribe, and follow the podcast for more conversations where ancient wisdom meets modern leadership. And we would love to hear your reflections. Write to us at beyondthebattlefield@outlook.in. And don't forget to check the GPT companion link in the description. Until next time, the battlefield was never outside. It was always within.